Welcome. In this series, we will begin our journey in the Hadean period, over 4 billion years ago. Earth here was very desert, covered in lava and acid. But soon, things would be different and lead to one of the biggest inventions of all, life. But we will discover what made Earth unique, and along the way, discover something much greater. How did life survive for this long? Welcome to Australia, our first stop in Paleozoic Wonders. Here is China, our next step in figuring out what started life. The volcanic lands that we once knew are no longer. However, life on the surface cannot thrive. In here, we find life, and the first remnants of it. However, most of them, up to a point, couldn't think freely. But in 2019, something shocked the world. Meet a Xinxlina, a primitive sea worm, one of the first animals to ever demonstrate the capability to make decisions. Xinxlina is a rudimentary animal. However, it would be one of the first of many in this series, compared to the Echochromia, which are just soft-bodied creatures. In the near future, these worms will go extinct along with all the animals of the Precambrian. But in their place would come something much, much different from these soft-bodied worms. Nightfall. This is the Cambrian period. The Cambrian period took place after the Precambrian. And then something happened called the Cambrian explosion, when numerous different life forms surged. Some of these include jellyfish, although possibly they went far back, way far back. In any case, all life on this planet has existed for quite a while. Like this Akul-Akatar, a small critter, but is still unidentified on the family tree. When life first began, China and South Australia were the only places known, but now they're all over the place, ranging all over the world. And microbacteria has begun their first steps on land. However, the water is where it really counts. There are many things that keep these environments going, like predator and prey relationships, and one of these are holocoichthys, a jawless fish. These fish are some of the earliest. However, they still prey to something much larger and the biggest animal to exist in the Cambrian. Meet Omnidens, the titan of Cambrian China. Their eyes are situated under their head, which allows them to fully function without messing up their jaw. This species is still discussed to this day. This omnidens has traveled into deeper sections of the lagoon looking for something. Omnidens are an apex predator, meaning that they are very territorial, unlike these Paleozoic which are tentacle-like with legs. These are unclear as their anatomy is still highly studied. There's not much we know about these types of species. The Omnidens is continually keeping his territory in check, just in case something tries to take him on. However, food wouldn't hurt. However, these softer creatures will not really do him the trick, as they are way too small to satiate his appetite. He needs to find bigger prey. Omnidens will soon become extinct with this world. However, soon these areas will become dormant and will most likely disappear in the next 2 to 5 million years. However, the Cambrian wasn't just finished yet. There were other things that remained consistent, and it leads us to the most famous Cambrian fossil site in our last stop on the first episode of Paleozoic Wonders. This is British Columbia, our final stop on Paleozoic Wonders. Land has been covered in mycobacteria that will continue to live on. However, some areas are still quite barren. But in the water, it's a completely different story. In here, we find an ecosystem from the Burgolius Shale. There are many things that live here, one of which are these. Hodgikoxoina, which has tentacles in front of it to help it move. These creatures were quite small, being smaller than your thumbnail, and will most likely prey. However, these creatures still remain and are part of a wide family lineage. And speaking of successful species, pikas, fish, jawless fish, just like the Holocoichthyes. However, these ones were much more advanced. However, there are other things like these capinorinators. These guys are rare, and we don't really know much about these strange creatures. But when there are prey, there are predators. The biggest, Anomalocaris, a ronodont. Anomalocaris was quite big in comparison to many other creatures here, being as long as your arm, with some being close to human size. Anomalocaris was a unique species due to it being one of the first animals with rudimentary eyes that are on its head and not below it. However, Anomalocaris are extremely territorial. This one is swimming about. He's just defending his territory. The recent Anomalocaris died here, and so he will continue on searching. There were other creatures as well, like opabins. Opabins were strange because we don't know what exactly family group they belong in because of their strange anatomy. They have 5 eyes and are soft-bodied, much different than most of the hard-shaped creatures besides the Najoli's fish that we saw earlier. On land, volcanoes are still abundant. This Capinodinator is swimming about carefully. Anomalocaris is the apex predator. They're not afraid to get dirty. However, soon places like this will become extinct. Schools of pika continue to swim. It's unclear how big some of these animals could have gotten, because Cambrian fossils are incredibly rare to fossilize. These sea sponges. Sponges and urchins have been around for quite a while, along with many other species that we are familiar with today, while these other static creatures remain extinct. An opabin swims along its coastal home. Opabin was named for Opa Peak in the Berglia Shale in the Yodo National Park. Stalagmites also are quite abundant, with plantae growing on them, making them one of the earliest species, since these are technically made of microbacteria dating all the way back over 1 billion years ago, along with algae. Unfortunately, many of these places will become extinct, and with them, all the animals along with them. As we end our first episode of Paleozoic Wonders, the Cambrian will disappear, and with it, many species. And over time, things will become radically different, leading to one of the biggest cephalopods the world has ever seen. Next time, we will be exploring the Ornithischian and Silurian, and the giants that came along with it.